What a huge news day you had yesterday. A big break for this, you and the team.
It was a big news day, big bombshell, repercussions for the president. That's what we're going to get to right now. New questions for the president as he meets with world leaders in Argentina today. This summit comes on the heels, as Steve was just saying, of that Russia investigation bombshell, placing Trump at the center of an effort to build a tower in Moscow during his presidential campaign. President's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, now admitting he lied about it to Congress to protect his boss. Our chief White House correspondent, John Carl, in Buenos Aires with the president. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. With a whirlwind 2 days of diplomatic meetings just getting underway now here in Argentina, there is a new reality weighing on the Trump presidency. The president's longtime confidant, Michael Cohen, has spent 70 hours in interviews with special counsel Robert Mueller.
As the president takes the world stage this morning here in Argentina, signing a new trade deal with Canada and Mexico, and a high-stakes meeting to prevent a trade war with China, he's facing mounting troubles back home.
Michael Cohen!
President Trump's longtime fixer has now gone state's witness. Michael Cohen entering a plea agreement with special counsel Robert Mueller. It's a move with massive implications for the special counsel investigation and perhaps the Trump presidency. Cohen has admitted lying to Congress about working during the 2016 campaign to strike a deal to build a Trump tower in Moscow. And he says he was lying to protect his longtime boss, Donald Trump. As the president left the White House for Argentina, he lashed out at his former fixer.
He's a weak person and not a very smart person. Very simply, Michael Cohen is lying, and he's trying to get a reduced sentence for things that have nothing to do with me.
But at the same time, the president did not deny trying to pull together the Moscow deal, even as he was campaigning for president.
When I run for president, that doesn't mean I'm not allowed to do business. I was doing a lot of different things when I was running. After I won, obviously, I don't do business.
For more than 2 years, Trump has repeatedly insisted he has had no business ties with Russia.
But zero. I mean, I will tell you right now, zero. I have nothing to do with Russia.
But throughout his campaign and into his presidency, President Trump has talked about the need for the U.S. government to have closer ties with Russia.
Wouldn't it be great if we actually got along with Russia? Wouldn't it be great? Is there anything wrong with it?
He says he ditched the Moscow project in early 2016 before he clinched the Republican nomination. But he says he didn't have to.
There would be nothing wrong if I did do it. I was running my business while I was campaigning. There was a good chance that I wouldn't have won, in which case I would have gone back into the business. And why should I lose lots of opportunities?
And while the president was on Air Force One flying down here to Argentina, another surprise, he abruptly canceled his planned meeting with Vladimir Putin. He was going to meet with him right here, a very highly anticipated meeting, George, and the president said he was calling it off because of Russian aggression in Ukraine.
Okay, John Carl, thanks very much. Bringing our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. We just saw in the piece there the president saying this had nothing to do with him. One of the reasons this plea is so important is because it does put the president right at the center of this effort.
Right, and the question becomes why? Right, we've talked about this before, this idea that this is a piece in the puzzle. This isn't the proof of collusion. This isn't the smoking gun. But the question becomes, why did the president, if Cohen's telling the truth, want to move the date back from June to January? Why is that 6-month period so important? And the answer would be, if it's true, that he didn't want to be seen as talking to Russia during the period right when you've got all the hacking. You've got the meeting with Don Jr. This is the heart of the contacts and the problems with the Russians is happening in June.
And it gets to another important thing that Mueller and reporters have uncovered now over the last year and a half. When it comes to Russia, whether the issue is contacts or building the Trump Tower in Moscow or the Attorney General talking to a Russian ambassador during the campaign, Don Jr. having this meeting, every single time it starts out with a lie. Then the lie is uncovered. Mueller's job is to find out why.
Well, and also Mueller's job is to put them all together, right? Because you can't look at each one in isolation. You can't say to yourself, Flynn, what does Flynn's single lie tell us? That's not the question. The question is, what does Flynn's lie tell us in connection with the other lies? Why is everyone seemingly distancing themselves from either conversations they had, meetings, etc., with Russians? What was going on? And that's the question, the big picture question Mueller has to answer.
The other important takeaway, we now know Michael Cohen has implicated the president in campaign finance felonies. That was in his previous case. Yeah. He's now implicated the president in Trump Tower. And as John said right at the start, we reported yesterday, he spent 70 hours with Mueller's team. This is not over.
Right, and so knowing how close Michael Cohen was to Donald Trump, you know Donald Trump has to be worked. I mean, regardless of what we already know already, the idea that one of his closest confidants, and remember, attorney-client privilege only applies to legal work. It doesn't
Not business work.
It doesn't apply to business work, so he can talk about any business contacts that the president had, and that's got to be unnerving.
Dan Abrams, thanks very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.